look, man, we got some big news that happened this week. World Rugby out here trying to get the game faster, make it more interesting, make sure that we can be more with the fan. Oh, man, they made a couple announcements this week about some major rule changes. What they called what did they call it? They call it fan requested changes, fan focused law changes, which essentially is part of their attempt to, find a way to, pigeon between what they've been doing and what the internet has been telling them to do. And I'm not going to lie, I am a preeminent World Rugby hater. I throw shade at them on a consistent basis. I don't think that they have the best interest of the world at hand. But that being said, I can absolutely appreciate when somebody goes, hey, I'm going to see what you guys just said, and we're going to make some shifts over here, because I appreciate it, especially if it's, depending on what the shift is, it's game. I don't know if it's everything. I still question their marketing, but, they said they wanted to do some shifts. So they announced they were going to make some shifts to the scrum laws. They're going to do some shifts to the red card laws. And honestly, let's just take a quick look at it right now. So one of the things that they said that they're going to be changing as of July 1st, 2024, all right? July 1st, 2024, they are changing the onside from kicks in open play law. So what that absolutely means is that they are going to be looking at when a player is offsides in an open play, if that player is in front of a teammate who is carrying the ball or who last played it, an offside player must not interfere with the play. This includes playing the ball, tackling the ball character, preventing the opposition from playing as they wish, loitering in offside position, including for that, it's also an offside player may be penalized, doesn't not make an effort to retreat, they move towards the ball, or they just anything to impede the process. They got to get back. So I think before it was a lot of situations where you would try and slow down the ball by trying to just limit a bit of what was going to happen whenever someone was offside, whenever you saw the ball was going to be off, and it just give you a chance to be able to get your guys back and then force the opposing team, the running team, to either do a free kick or kick it to touch, but not just be able to run free. Looks like we're going to be getting that a lot heavier now. In addition to that, it looks like free kicks, they changed it. It will no longer be possible to choose a scrum from a free kick. Free kicks must either be tapped or kicked to encourage more ball and flow. I'm not going to lie. I like that. I actually genuinely like that. I do, especially as a forward. It gets very exhausting sometimes to have to keep jumping back and forth, especially whenever you're not sure what is going to happen. So if you're across the field or you're getting set and you're like waiting, and the penalized team has the option for a free kick, and they're like, okay, let's go to scrum. It does slow the game down. Now, there's obviously teams that take advantage of that moment, which is great. South Africa is one of those, which clearly this is kind of a little bit of a jab towards South Africa. But, I do like that for the flow of games, because I really do like running off the ball and seeing what they do. And then with the kick, if you kick it into touch, obviously, you can push people back in territory, but it turns over the ball one way or another. And, it also becomes a far more annoying game of, ball tennis than one would prefer to be. The next one is the crocodile roll, which honestly, I believe this might be the dumbest of the changes, but they're calling for player safety. I think within the U.S., that's the one that's the leg tackle roll that they just eliminated, which I'd tried to use that as an example of rugby being able to show their aggression and show that it's still there. But basically the barrel tackle is being removed out. And essentially what they're saying is the crocodile roll, while low in numbers, these actions continue to cause long-term injuries in many players. The shape of game, which is the meeting, the fan adjustment meeting that they call it, showed clear support for removing the specific action in law. What they will replace it with is a player may lever the jackal out of the contest at the ruck, but must not drop their weight onto them or target their lower limbs. A player may remove the jackler from the tackle area by pushing and driving them backwards, including by grabbing the knees and legs, but may not roll, pull, or twist an opponent. A player may not drop their weight into opponent or target the lower limbs. You call it not to roll, pull, or twist, and basically prohibits. Basically, for anybody that understands, it's when you make a tackle, a dude's bigger than you, and whenever you just wrap them and you use your body to bring them through. I'm not gonna lie, that's a big play for me. Not necessarily at the lower limbs, but definitely from above the waist, because of the fact that there's times where you just can't get them until you know that you're off balance. I don't feel like this one was worth it. Like, this is an overplay, and I feel like this is because of the NFL that they did this one. And like, this one's gonna suck for a lot of wings and a lot of scrummies, because especially whenever you get big centers or locks running it down, like you get that wrap up around the legs, and instead of you just allowing yourself to get dragged and allow them to still be able to consistently move forward, it allows you to adjust your weight into that side of the leg and then just be able to rotate down so that you turn their positioning and their momentum out. So it gives them the fall. It allows you to be able to take them down and prevent the momentum, because that issue is hard. Like, it's hard. Like, yo, this isn't a form tackle issue. This is legitimately like, yo, the tackler has the tackler has as much of a safety issue as the one who's being tackled, because mugs are big these days too. So it's very interesting to see that they made that one. I don't agree with that, but let me know what you guys think on it. So the other one that I talked about, like I said, was the red card and the addition of being able to make some small changes that came with the sanction. So I want to take a look at that real quick to allow us to be able to see what was some of these major changes. So one of the major changes that they decided on that was on the definition and the automatic bans, right? So again, I think a lot of people made a lot of arguments, especially during the Rugby World Cup, whenever that New Zealand All Blacks player was lost within like the first 10 minutes of the game, and the uncertainty until like 10 minutes after he was called. So a lot of questions were like how that impacted the full game, because it cost him and the game afterwards, and could have cost him the rest of the tournament if he wasn't careful. So it looks like World Rugby made a couple adjustments. Key principle, number one, the on-field process remains the same. Referees can still give a straight red card, and the bunker can be called upon for matters that meet the yellow card threshold, or reflecting a commitment to ensuring the right outcome and deterring the foul play, which I do think is right. The referees require the power, especially on the field, to be able to make sure that they can be able to make a call without there being so much interference afterwards. Next, a red card still means a red card, but this means that after 20 minutes, the offended team will be able to replace the red carded player with one of their available replacements, leading to more jeopardy and better contest on the day. The punishment is focused on the offending player, not the game. This might be one of the most important and biggest things that they actually did, and I feel like this might be the one time that World Rugby was 100% correct, because I think when it comes to the red card, it is about the player who got offended. Yes, the team gets hit for that 20 minutes. Like, I love the fact a short period of time for the 20 minutes for the team to be affected by that. It still takes a lot. That's a quarter of the game that's gone, right? A quarter of the game gone, you're down a whole player. But whenever it comes to the fact that you can't have a player again for the entirety of the game, the level of disadvantage that plays for the team, it changes up how the perspective is. It makes the game suck a little bit more, because players are now overplayed, they're overtired, and even though this is as much a mental game as it is a physical game, it takes away a strategic advantage that just makes the game boring. And especially if you have a team that might be very, very even, or more importantly, like a team that is in a situation where they are playing above themselves and they get a red card and it completely throws everything off for the entirety of the game. It can take something that could be a great upset and shift it back down into the most worthless type of game that you could absolutely have. And I am so happy they changed it so that the red carded player is off for that game and the game afterwards. But the team does not have to feel it for a full 80 minutes, a full 40 minutes, a full, uh, 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 60 minutes. They're able to just be able to readjust, and you're down a player. You don't have subs. You don't have the same amount of subs, but you at least are able to get your guys on, and you can keep the play, and you're punished for, again, a quarter of the game. So big shout out to World Rugby for making that really, really wise, really wise decision with that one. And lastly, not lastly, but second to last, ban will mean what they say. Players sent off for dangerous foul plays will be banned for longer via an automatic sanctioning process. No hearing. There will be no mitigation applied without an appeal. Now, to be able to go on that, they explain what that means. Foul play is an automatic 2 weeks out, where a player has attempted to effect a legal rugby action and or has committed a reckless action, but has made minor errors such as in technique or timing. I do once again hope that they play this one well, because I know this one is when it comes to a lot of head injury stuff, the head-to-head collisions that again affected the Rugby World Cup. But an automatic 2 weeks. Aggravated foul play is an automatic 4 weeks, where a player has affected a highly reckless action and or non-legal rugby action, tucked arm, no attempt to wrap, driving tackle. A sanctioning committee comprised of members with rugby experience will calibrate all red card sanctionings from a round/weekend of matches. No mitigation will be applied in automatic sanctioning scenarios, creating an environment of consistency while making the process easier for players and fans to understand. Again, very, very important. Something that is absolutely needed. It allows them to be able to now give us what we know should happen once it's on the field. That red card comes up, we know that player's gone for the rest of the game. Hands down, ain't no questions about it, yada, yada, yada. But again, as we talked about previously, it's not going to affect the team for the entirety of the game, unless it's the last 20 minutes of the game, obviously. But to be able to now have at least, hopefully, people who are objective and will be able to look at some of these plays back. Some of these can move from 2 weeks off. Maybe they don't get recounted as a red card in that moment, and nobody has to be pissed off and death threat refs because they had a player down for the majority of the game and were unable to do anything afterwards. And it's like, no, 20 minutes, you're able to bring people in. This player is now under training, and then we're going to determine the level of the violation that was done. Great job. And then lastly, welfare remains non-negotiable. While tackle technique has shifted significantly, which again goes to the crocodile roll, both welfare and performance dynamics, the off-field sanctioning process will continue to act as a strong deterrent to players, while education on tackle technique as a performance enabler will be stepped up. So, some of these changes I do think is pretty legitimate. I think there is a legitimate concern for it. Again, I do feel like the crocodile roll is a bit overrated. Yes, I know people get hurt, but I do think that's a little bit of over-policing. But again, when you haven't been affected by it, maybe you don't know to the extent of what it really means in that facet. So let me know what you guys think about this. Like, how do you feel on some of these law changes on it? For me, like I said, I'm here for especially with the red card. I think that has been needing to be improved for maybe the better part of 15 years now. So for them to finally get to it, I think is really significant. And it shows a willingness to show entertainment to the game, give safety to the players, but also not try and sway the game by the refs. So the refs are also protected as well too. So, I love to hear what you guys have to say.
We're taking dumplings to a new level. My name is Bailu. I'm here with Health Enhanced Foods, and I want to introduce you to one of our most popular products, dumpling flour. What makes our dumpling flour so popular is that it is a mix of unrefined super flours that create the maximum level of nourishment for your personal dumplings. This is including mixes like buckwheat, sunflower, flax seeds, everything that helps to be able to make your appetite stronger, more fulfilled, and healthier. Including within that, we have no added sugars, so we want to make sure that it is rich in protein, rich in fiber, and rich in vitamins and minerals. Our dumpling flour is diabetic friendly, high in quality gluten-free mixes with no rice. And if you know, you know. There's always a little bit of rice to be able to stabilize it, not here in our dumpling flour. It is naturally nourishing, and of course, it's a great substitute for wheat-based dumplings. With this gluten-free dumpling, you can now make your croissants, you can make your rice dumplings, you can make your dessert dumplings. You can absolutely find this at healthenhancedfoods.com. Go ahead, get yourself a bag, get yourself a pallet, and make sure that you can fulfill for your people and yourself the way that you really deserve it. Don't wait, let's go!